Hey guys, Full Throttle here, and this is a 2021 Aprilia Tuono V4 factory. Today, I'm going to show you how to install the Woodcraft GP Shift conversion kit. What this kit will allow me to do is, instead of shifting by 1 down, 5 up, it'll let me do 1 up, 5 down. There can be many reasons for making this change. A lot of times it's just plain old preference. For me, I have a pretty good reason. That's my race bike there, and it is currently in GP Shift. That's what I prefer on the track. And if I were to keep this bike in standard shift, I would have a really hard time adjusting when I switch bikes. It would probably make it so that occasionally I shift into the wrong gear and blow up the gearbox probably. So I decided to just change it so that it's the same on both bikes. So let's take a look at what is included with this kit. The main piece is the shift pivot block, and this is the shift arm that mounts onto these two holes using these two screws. Then you have your shift rod with the two nuts. I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but this side has a little line that denotes that this is the reverse thread that goes into here, and the other thread is a regular thread that goes onto the shift knuckle on the motorcycle. Then we have the toe piece that installs using the one bolt here, and there's a little pin that you can select which of these 6 holes that you mount the toe piece in, depending on how long your foot is and your preference. Then we have this bolt, spacer, and all this stuff that is used to mount this block onto the motorcycle. Now let's take a look at what this stock mechanism is. When I push down, it pulls this unit that way, and that's how you shift into first. What we want is we want to do this and pull this back. So this unit will mount something like this, and because the rod will be at the top, when we push up, the rod will rotate this way, which means it'll pull this unit backwards. That's pretty much it. So we're going to remove this and unscrew all of this stuff, get our new stuff in here, and maybe we'll have to adjust this angle. We want that angle to be 90 degrees. Same thing here. We want this angle on the new unit to be 90 degrees. So let's start by removing the stock piece from the motorcycle. We'll need a 10mm open-ended wrench to loosen these two jam nuts. That way we can remove the shift rod from the sensor unit. Then we'll use a 6mm Allen key to remove this piece off the bike, and that's all that needs to be removed for now. I just realized there is a 13mm nut at the back to remove this bolt here, so get a wrench out. So here it is. This is our stock lever that has been removed from the motorcycle, and this is what it looks like. The next step is to install the shift arm to the shift pivot block using these two screws. I'm going to use some Loctite, and it takes a 4mm Allen key. I know from experience that these are pretty soft screws, so don't tighten the crap out of it. What's going to happen is this steel is stronger than this, so you're going to end up rounding out the hexagon shape here. You don't want that. You won't be able to remove it if you ever needed to in the future. After we have this installed, I think the next step we should take is to loosen this using a 5mm Allen key. That way we can pull this off and rotate it counterclockwise, because our shift rod is now going to be in this direction somewhere up here, and it's not going to be a 90 degree here, so we're going to have to do this anyway. So I'm going to remove it. Be mindful of the sensor cable. Don't want to pull it too far and damage it. Now we can install the shift rod into the pivot block. The side with the line is the reverse thread, and that's what's going to go into this knuckle here. So back your nut off all the way, and then insert the thread all the way in. I want to leave this piece till the end because I want to have the adjustability, but what I noticed is when we install this on the bike, we're not going to have any space to install your tools in there, so it might be a bit of a trial and error. You might have to install and remove a few times, but let's take this assembly here and install the pivot onto the motorcycle. So what you're going to want is the screw and this main block on the outside with the little washer. This goes on the back of this, still on the outside of the vehicle, and then the nut comes in from behind the frame. The front screw will take a 5mm Allen key, and the back, the nut, will take a 13mm open wrench. It's probably a good idea to add some lubrication here so that it's nice and easy for you to rotate this when you're shifting. Now, as you can see, I have removed the sensor off the motorcycle, and I'm gonna thread that shift rod into here. That way it's somewhere in the middle. Both sides should have about equal thread, and then we'll try to measure this angle, what it is, whether it's 90 or not. Looks like I misspoke earlier. What you're gonna have to actually do is remove the shift rod from the other side and start the threads on both of them at the same time. I thought, you know, putting it in all the way and then backing off would put into here, but that's not the case. So take the rod out and start both sides at the same time and go equally. It'll automatically go equally to both sides. Once you have that installed, now we can kind of check the angle here. This angle should be around 90 degrees, and this angle should also be around 90 degrees. You can adjust the angle of this up and down like this by loosening and tightening the shift rod in and out. But what that's going to do is it's also going to change your angle. So see how right now it's going up, like this is going up, but now my angle is not quite 90, and here it's larger than 90. So it's going to be a balance between what you want in terms of ergonomics and maintaining this 90 degree. If you like this higher up, then you can do this and then rotate this around a spline. That way you get both the 90 degrees and the desired angle here. So I haven't really tightened anything yet. The jam nuts are still loose. I don't have the bolt here because we're still in the mock-up phase. The next thing we want to do is install the toe piece using this countersunk screw and Loctite. You have adjustability here, and I think I'm going to start with that pin, that hole for the pin first, and then I'll put on my boots that I use most of the time and adjust the angle and the 90 degree accordingly. I installed the toe piece and I put my boots on just to do a little bit of a mock test, and this is giving me plenty of room. What I was finding with the stock one is I didn't have enough space for my boot to go under, so that problem is solved. Ideally, you probably want to be, riding around with this setup. Have some tools handy with you. All you'll need is basically a 10mm wrench, 5mm Allen key, and a 4mm Allen key to adjust all this stuff as you ride, as you find out what actually works and doesn't work for you. For me, for now, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these nuts so that the shaft doesn't move, and I'm gonna put this 5mm bolt back in and call it a day. So that's pretty much going to wrap it for this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave them down below. I know there were some noises in the background, but I was trying to beat the rain. There's a storm coming, so I just wanted to get this done so I can ride after the rain is gone. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future.